The idea about sailing sclerosis came to me at the university hospital working as a doctor. This man was contracted with MS and had built his own boat, spent 10 years doing it to sail around the world, and now sat there with his dreams scattered in depression and despair. It spontaneously burst out of me that you have to go sailing again. And then I knew at that moment, being a sailor myself, that I was going to sail around the world with people living with MS as crew. Multiple sclerosis, or MS, is a disease in the central nervous system. It hits people in the prime of their life without any known reason. It mostly hits in attacks. Within hours or days, they develop symptoms like sensory disturbances, visual disturbances, motor skills dysfunctions. So in that sense, you could say that the disease disconnects people from the outer world and from life by blunting the senses and inhibiting the ability of acting in the world. It's a pretty horrible disease, really. It leaves people in this state of fear, too, that they never know what tomorrow will bring. Will they get a new attack? Do they have the benign edition of the disease, or do they have the more aggressive one? Like that, to me, it's also something that reminds everybody else about the premises of life, that we do not know what tomorrow brings.
For mig der er det værste ved sklerose den usikkerhed, der ligger i sygdommen. At man ikke rigtig kender sin fremtid. Det er der selvfølgelig heller ingen andre, der gør. Men hvis man har en diagnose som sklerose, så er fremtiden afskrækkende.
Når man får sådan en sygdom som sklerose, så kan man nemt miste troen på, at der er ret meget, at man kan mange ting, og at der er plads til at gøre de ting.
Så ned sydover, så vi får vinden i ryggen. Det betyder også, at allerede efter få dage, så er der ikke rigtig nogen vej tilbage. Alright everybody, it seems now that we'll get some hard winds, like winds up to 25, maybe 30 knots of wind. So we need to prepare the boat for this. What we see in the project in Sailing Sclerosis and Oceans of Hope on the boat, whether it's on the circumnavigation or people just going out on a taster sail or in anywhere, is sort of a recapturing of lost identity.
MS can take a lot of us, it can steal us part of our lives. So this trip for me means taking back my life again.
It's very emotional, I think. I never fished so big.
It's a very strong thing to sail around the world in a sailboat. Combined with something that's like MS, magic appears. The shame that's often associated with this disease is released by pride and a feeling of belonging to something, a feeling of worthiness, that yes, I'm good enough, I can still be part of amazing things.
Og det her med sejladsen er bare så stærk, så jeg føler mig fuldstændig intakt i kontakt med min indre styrke. Jeg føler mig faktisk stærkere.
The greatest experience on Oceans of Hope, it's being at the steering wheel. Feel like two things, like in control, but at the same time I don't control anything. And I get this amazing feeling of being really connected to the boat.
It's important to remember you cannot empower people, but you can create communities in which people they can empower themselves.
Det er så helende, det fællesskab, vi har omkring det her projekt. De bånd, der er kommet mellem os, her, de er så stærke og så helbredende, at det faktisk føles som nye nervetråde, der erstatter dem, der er ødelagt. Og det er meget stærk medicin.
We can help each other being aware of one another to see the person, not the disease. It's like the Avatar movie. I see you, and that's very powerful.
So as a doctor with a white coat, we talk about the disease, and then I take the white coat off, we talk about person to person, human to human things. And then, very importantly, when we've done that, we get out of the chair and we go down to the harbor and we get out sailing. That's empowerment. That's what it's all about. The Oceans of Hope project from Sclerosis Foundation is about changing the perceptions of MS. It has to do with recapturing your identity. A lot of people with MS, they get a loss of identity due to their disabilities. We want to show a way how to empower people. It has to do with the feeling of being worthy of belonging to a community and not being excommunicated because you're not good enough. Yes, you are good enough. You are doing the research. You are trying to find the cure and break the enigma of this feared disease. And while you're doing that, we will insist on keeping on living our lives, and we will sail around the world.
Live from Studio 46, this is CBS 2 News at 6.
A unique sailboat docked in New York today. The Oceans of Hope vessel is the first around-the-world sailboat staffed with people who have multiple sclerosis.
There's something inherently freeing about sailing, and it feels like flying.
You're watching Fox 5 News at 5.
Oh, look at that. A yacht making its way around the world docked in New York Harbor this morning. It's called Oceans of Hope, and it's dedicated to the fight against multiple sclerosis. Most of the ship's working crew has MS, and right now they're in the middle of a 33,000 nautical mile journey.
We believe that with Oceans of Hope and Sailing Sclerosis, we're holding on to something good. What we want to do in the future, we want to build up sustainable sailing centers where people, they can come out sailing on a daily basis.
I think the message is Oceans of Hope is for all of us, not for one person alone, and it has so much strength. It's amazing how we can change ourselves, we people with MS. I think all the dreams are over there, and we can get them.